Good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojapa Maria Ensaroma. March is the first of two nature months in this 2020 Earth year of deep change. And the element of nature is all about change. And based on what is going on with this pandemic of the coronavirus, March is a big month of change. Now, to honor these seasonal changes that March brings, because of course we're also going to have the equinoxes, my theme is open up and adapt. As we are in the midst of old beliefs and structures giving way to new ones. In this broadcast, I will focus on consciously adapting to work and career changes. But first, just a reminder that when I'm broadcasting live, you can listen to the program through your phone at this number, which is 563-999-3089. I will also upload a video of this broadcast on Tuesday to my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery. And you can ask questions or share comments on my Facebook page, which is Wisdom Walk Radio. My website, which is www.wisdomwalktoselfmastery.com, or in the comment sections below this YouTube. But right now, I invite you to sit or lay back and join me for an exploration of the inner landscape, where we can connect to our souls and discover the true treasure of being human. As always, I want to open up my show with an honoring of the ancestors. And I'm going to kind of combine that with honoring this being Women's History Month. And so I want to share with you about a woman who is still alive. She's actually 90 years old, but we're going to honor her ancestors because this woman is amazing. And I'm talking about Dr. Gladys West, who I just learned about her incredible contribution to the world just 2 weeks ago. So let me tell you about Dr. West. Although she was one of only 4 Black persons at the Dahlgren Naval Base in Virginia in 1956, Dr. West's exceptional mathematical skill set was sought after by the U.S. Navy because computing back then was done by good old-fashioned calculating, since the electronic systems we are so familiar with now didn't exist. Her calculations and algorithms help determine variations in what is called gravitational, tidal, and other forces that distort the Earth's shape. Her work eventually led to the development of satellites and then to GPS. Yes, the Global Positioning System. So Dr. West, who is now 90, was born in 1930 in Dwinwiddie County, West Virginia. She served for 40 years in the Navy, retired at the age of 68 in 1998, and then went on to get a PhD, even though she also was challenged by having a stroke. The way that she comes to the forefront of American history and women's history is through one of her sorority sisters who read the bio that she put in and was like, oh my God, how come nobody knows this? And so that brought her story to light. And finally, in 2017, she was inducted into the Air Force Space and Missiles Pioneers Hall of Fame by the United States Air Force. Yeah. And, she grew up at a time when there was, sharecropping going on down south and in Virginia. But she had this incredible facility for learning and also for math and science, and was able to put that to good use. So I want to honor her ancestors and the ancestors of all the people who have come through out of very humble beginnings to go on and do these amazing contributions to the world that we live in. So join me if you will. Think about your ancestors, those who have come before you, those who come from humble beginnings. And let's call them up, because clearly, they are wonderful guides for us. So Creator, Mother, Father, God, Source, all the one, all that is, we thank you for your blessing and your mercy in our lives, and for yet another opportunity to reach out and call out to you and to those great emissaries, the ancestors. Creator, right now, on this globe, on this earth, we are living in a very, very trying time because of the coronavirus and all of how it is impacting everything that we do in normal life, how our normal life is being disrupted. And so we're reaching out and calling out to the ancestors to come and be present with us, to be guides to us, to help us, to remind us of the truth of who we are, to remind us that, like Dr. West, we are here for a purpose, and that we can be on purpose and make our contribution in wonderful, wonderful ways. So Creator, give us the ability to trust that we can get this wonderful non-physical guidance from our ancestors so that we can navigate through whatever challenges come to us and be on purpose in this life, in this world. And once again, Creator, I thank you for this opportunity to invoke our ancestors in the name of all that is holy. I say amen, Ashe Ahoasa, Ashinga Bismillah, and so it is. Ashe. So, I have cut down my broadcasts and YouTubes to 30 minutes a week to try and just work a little smarter on my part, but also to, I think that giving you information maybe in more digestible ways could be more of a help. So as always, I want to just give you quickly the elemental wisdom for this week and some of the astrological information that can be supportive to you through this week. So because January 1st fell on a Wednesday, the elemental week is on a Wednesday. And so this Wednesday, the 18th of March, which is my sister's birthday, through to next Tuesday, the 24th, we will be in a nature week, in a nature month. Yeah. So here's the opportunity. Welcome change. Be courageous. Open the door fully to the new transformative challenges and learnings which the universe is providing in answer to and in support of your prayers, intentions, goals, and annual commitments. Yeah, there's treasure in Corona. Yeah. Receive the power of love and the supportive and playful energy of the nature element to experience the more of who you are. Yeah. So here's some distractions to this ability to open up and welcome change, to find the treasure in what is going on at with the challenge that you're facing. Addictive behaviors in whatever form they take, so drugs, alcohol, indiscriminate sexual activity, overworking, over shopping, overuse of Facebook and other social media tools and apparatus. Yeah. Just watch out for that, and especially with Corona creating quarantine, self-quarantine, or just really cutting down on going out and being about. The social media looking good, Disney Plus looking good, but just make sure that you don't overdo it, that you give yourself some time to just be, to relax, to feel, to think, to contemplate. Yeah. Also, being judgmental of yourself and others, or taking yourself and other people or things too seriously is not a good day. Not a good day. So. Now, next Wednesday, which would be the 25th, we will have an Earth Week, which is about opening up to receive support. And I'll tell you all about that in the next broadcast. Quick reminder, next Sunday, March the 22nd will be what I've designated as the monthly Earth Day. And I will have some information for you on how you can honor that day when we get to have this opportunity to honor that day on Sunday. I will probably put some information in the box below this video just for people who want to get a jump start on it. And then last but not least, the astrological information. Now, we just came out of a very powerful super full moon in Virgo from the 8th through the 9th of this month, and it was really very, very powerful. I was traveling at the time and got to see it out an airplane window. It was unbelievable, just really huge and amazing. So we don't have our next moon until the 24th, but here are the dates to pay attention to this week. The first one is March 18th, and astrologically it's really important because it's called a six-planet stellium. Six-planet stellium in the sign of Capricorn. That means that there are record 6 of the planets are in that part of the sky, and 5 of them are only within 8 degrees of each other. It's like, you know, massive buildup of planets. So astrologers are saying that March 18th marks a time of, you know, something big happening. So it's a day to really, I would say, lay low and, you know, just stay calm, not do things that you don't have to do, that you can put off, because the energy of that day is pretty huge. And already leading up to it, I'm feeling the energetic of that. You know, today is the 15th, the Ides of March. We're in the middle of March, and so there's this, it's a big energy, a big change energy that is going on, especially in the sign of Capricorn. The following day, from the March 19th through the 20th, is when the vernal equinox shows up in the Northern Hemisphere. So that's spring arriving, and this is a signal of new beginnings. And in the Southern Hemisphere, it's the autumnal equinox, and that comes with endings and closures. Yeah, so we have this, again, seasonal change going on, along with all the other change that is happening. And then on March 21st, another astrological noted day, this is when Saturn moves into Aquarius. Now, Saturn has been conjunct with Capricorn along with Pluto and Jupiter, you know, for several months, but now it's moving out of Capricorn into Aquarius. So the astrologers say from March until June, we'll have a brief taste of what the Saturn in Aquarius transit is going to be like, because that marks the age of Aquarius starting in December. So you may begin to experience some of these energy shifts and new developments in your life. So be mindful, stay aware, be conscious. Now, my quick overview for tonight of what I want to focus on for you in these next 12 minutes is conscious adapting defined. So just quickly what I had said in the previous 2 broadcasts about this conscious adapting. Then I'm going to talk about the 4th Industrial Revolution and its potential impact on work and career changes. And then I will give you a personal challenge or a personal awareness opportunity. The quote that I use for this week comes from a man by the name of Georg C. Lichtenberg, who lived from 1742 to 1799. And he was a physicist, a scientist, and a satirist, which means that he would make fun of the current things that were going on. You know, it was like comedy. He was like he was a comedian, let's say, an intellectual comedian. And he says, I cannot say whether things will get better if we change. What I can say is they must change if they are to get better. Yeah. So conscious adaptability. This is about choosing to accept new realities and conditions that happen personally, socially, globally, and universally. So, of course, the coronavirus is a global reality that we are all having to learn how to adapt to. And we can do it consciously. We don't have to be a victim to this pandemic. We can actually say, oh, here's the opportunity to open up and adapt and figure out what this brings to us that can be a benefit to our humanity. Another part of conscious adaptability is that you're willing to learn how to adjust to the new realities and conditions. So it's not just about accepting them, but actually, again, opening up to that learning how to adjust to the new realities and conditions. And then last but not least, conscious adaptability is you're willingly growing your capacity to modify thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors that are in conflict with the new reality and conditions. Yeah. So we're right in the thick of it. And I started off this month talking just about, conscious adapting in general, not knowing, about the coronavirus would have the impact it has, but you can't make this stuff up, how timely Spirit has been for me to give me this focus in regards to where we are at today. So we're all being asked to do some conscious adapting, again, so that we don't have to be a victim to these changes. They've been coming for a long time. So let me share with you about the fourth industrial revolution, and my information comes from the World Economic Forum. This is a gathering of economists and politicos and wealthy people and academics that happens every year in Switzerland in Davos. And they come together and they talk about what's emerging, what's going on, and also about what needs to be done in regards to the economy. And again, this is a world forum, so it's people from all over the world. So what they talk about with the fourth revolution, they say the first industrial revolution used water and steam power to mechanize production. So again, we went from working out in the fields and working with animals to now we got water and steam power and things became mechanized, right? Like the steam engine shows up, the trains show up. Then the second industrial revolution, they say, used electric power to create mass production. Yeah, and so this is like what happens in Henry Ford's factory to create the assembly line. Then the third industrial revolution used electronics and information technology, that's the computer, to automate production. So now a fourth industrial revolution is building on the third, the digital revolution that has been occurring since the middle of the last century. It is characterized by a fusion of technologies that is blurring the lines between the physical, the digital, and biological spheres. Yeah. So in other words, the robots are getting close. Yeah, robots are getting close. That's basically what that sentence is talking about. It goes on to say, I pulled this out, that the possibilities of billions of people connected by mobile devices, right, our cell phones, right, with unprecedented processing power, storage capacity, and access to knowledge are unlimited. So they see this as like there's no limit, right? And these possibilities will be multiplied by emerging technology breakthroughs in fields such as artificial intelligence, robotics, the Internet of Things, autonomous vehicles like the Tesla it really can drive itself. I was in one. 3D printing, nanotechnology, biotechnology, material science, energy storage, and quantum computing. Yeah. So these are like what is on the horizon. Some of these things are here. And it's really important to understand that it's not going to go backwards. It's not going to go backwards. It's only going to go forward. So it's important that we are aware that this is what the World Economic Forum is talking about. The people who set up the systems of how things are going to work, how the economy is going to be, what kind of jobs do there need to be, what kind of training for these jobs, right? All of this flows out of this stuff. And so we need to be aware of this, because if that's not what you want to do, if that's not how you want to make your living, then you need to get on how you really want to make your living. Yeah. Because again, like I said, this stuff is it's not going to go away. It's just like the train didn't go away. The train is evolving from those initial steam engines, but it ain't went away. Electric lights have not gone away. It's just finding different ways to have this power source. So the reason we're talking about this is because, again, I don't want you to be blindsided. I don't want you to be victimized by these changes that are on the horizon. So I want to share with you what is dissolving, like what is going away that we've taken for granted, or we just thought this is what would be normal in life as it relates to work and career. Because there are two economists. One is named, and I'm going to screw up his name because I didn't take the time to get the sounding of it, but I'll make an attempt. I believe he's from Norway. It's Erik Brynjolfsson. And the other one is Andrew McAfee. And they pointed out that this fourth revolution could yield greater inequality, particularly in its potential to disrupt labor markets that exist right now. Yeah. So this is what we need to be focusing on is, do we want to have the labor markets dictated by the fourth industrial revolution only? Or do we want to begin the process of learning how to make mindful contributions to the world, to live out our vocation, our calling, rather than what I call mindless occupation. I just need a paycheck so I can pay my rent, so I can pay my car note, or even so I can send my kids to college. Like, I just want a paycheck. Instead of really taking on learning and developing your vocation, what you're being called to do. Because, now check this out, the World Economic Forum put this out in 2017, so 3 years ago. And this is what they call the 2022 Skills Outlook. So in other words, here are the skills that are going to be in demand by 2022, right? Just like 2 years away, 3 years away. So right now, when you go to get a job, you think, it's really important that I have reading, writing, math, and active listening skills, right? And then I can get a job. Well, they're saying by 2022, yeah, those things are going to be required, but they're going to be secondary to critical thinking and analysis. Now, this is really important because our school systems right now are based on reading, writing, and math and listening skills. We ain't teaching critical thinking and analysis to the degree that we need to be. I can remember even when I was in college, I went to Fordham University, I went to an Ivy League school. They weren't really teaching critical analysis and thinking to the degree that they could have been. You know, I was an English major, so I was doing it in that way. But it wasn't like, you know, it was like I was required to do this critical thinking analysis class. Yeah. Now it was years ago. So we're still, again, behind the 8 ball in regards to what this new wave of work and career stuff is coming in. Another one I want to point out is that, so people who want to be in management, leaders, they say coordination and time management is an important thing, that skills that you need to have. But again, you know what they really want? What they're going to really want? Beyond that, including that, emotional intelligence. Yeah. Something I teach about all the time with people who are willing. You got to be willing, right? Think about that. That's what would get you a job, is being able to demonstrate that you're emotionally intelligent. Interesting. And one more, manual dexterity, so the use of your hands, doing manual labor, basically. Endurance and precision, not as necessary as analytical thinking and innovation, because 3D printing is displacing manual dexterity, endurance, and precision. Yeah. So anyway, this stuff is all over the internet. You can easily find it. Just look up Google World Economic Forum and their reports. You can find that, or even just put in the 4th Industrial Revolution. You'll get a whole bunch of stuff. They even did a little video about it, the World Economic Forum, and I'll post that link in the bottom. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that things are changing, and there is going to be more adaptation required. And so I want you to have a consciousness of it, an awareness of it, so you don't get blindsided by these changes. So here's a personal awareness opportunity for you. Are you participating in mindless occupation or a mindful vocation and calling? Yeah. Are you making contributions that benefit all living things, or are you supporting the destruction of all living things? Yeah. Now, if you're not aligned with your current work life, you know, if it's a struggle, you really don't like it, consciously set an intention for that to shift. Dream up, imagine, envision, do a vision board, you know, take on manifesting how you truly want to be spending your time and energy to share your gifts, your talents, and your purpose. Yeah. I will put this in the box below the video, and I will post it on my Facebook page, Wisdom Walk Radio. Now, I want to do a quick shout out to all of those of you who have joined me, along with my dear friend Magella Green, for the 40-day challenge called Sit Down With Me Practice that we started on Wednesday, February the 26th, the first day of Lent, and it will go until Sunday, April the 5th. We're coming into the 3rd week. This Tuesday, we'll post again up on Facebook our sharing our experience of this work and inviting you to also share comments. And again, that will also be posted on my Wisdom Walk Radio page. I also want to mention that yesterday I got a hit from Spirit, and I did this spill about the coronavirus from a spiritual interpretation, because corona means crown, and so I believe it's about our crown chakras really being opened, or being asked to be opened. And so you can get access to that without being a friend to me on Facebook, through my Facebook page, or even if you don't belong to Facebook, you can still access it at Wisdom Walk Radio on Facebook. Yeah. Well, I am going to close out here tonight. Next week I will have more for you about adaptation, but I want to first thank my wonderful engineer, Miss Yvette Parker, who put up with me tonight when one of my phones that I usually use wasn't working, so I had to jump onto the other one. I'm so grateful for her patience with me. To all my regular listeners out there, especially Ms. Sarah. And again, she knows a lot about adaptation because she was born in 1924. And she is still here living and loving her life. To all those who have wisdom walk with me, and you know who you are, to my spiritual kin and colleagues, my family, my transformational leadership colleagues around the world, my medicine brothers and sisters, all of those who know the importance of walking the wisdom, and to those of you who may be listening or watching in for the first time and are learning about the importance of walking the wisdom, I want to thank you, thank you, thank you. I also want to say that, the coronavirus to me is an opportunity for us to stop, get still, go in, and really choose love over fear. And so I just want to send the love from my heart out to everyone who is watching this video, and to know that you are loved as a human being and you are worthy of love as a human being. I send prayers that if you come into contact with the virus or know people that are, that you have the courage to open up and receive the support that is needed, to stay positive, to do the things that are required so that the virus doesn't spread, and to know that this too shall pass. But clearly, we are going through it as a global community. None of us is discriminated against by this disease, and so we need to love on each other and support each other as best as we can, as best as we can. Just a reminder about my book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain, available through Amazon and other booksellers. I'll leave a link in the box below. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides and loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky and my crown chakra open, my feet to the floor, and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Please have a fabulous nature week. Open up to the changes that Corona is bringing. See them as opportunities for adaptation, for learning something new. And most important, please remember, you are not disposable. You are divine. Good night now.